April 21st, 2025, became a sorrowful day for the global Catholic Church as Pope Francis, who had led the Church for more than a decade, passed away at the age of 88. His departure not only marked the end of a historically significant papacy, but also left a deep void in the hearts of millions of believers around the world. Pope Francis, born Jorge Mario Bergoglio, was born on December 17, 1936, in Buenos Aires, Argentina, into a family of Italian immigrant origin. From a young age, Bergoglio displayed kindness, closeness to the poor, and a spirit of selfless service. He joined the Society of Jesus Jesuits and was ordained a friarist in 1969. His pastoral career developed steadily and with deep commitment. Bergoglio held many important roles in the Church in Argentina, most notably as Archbishop of Buenos Aires. However, it was his humble lifestyle, relatable sermons, and profound love for those on the margins of society that made him a respected figure not only among Catholics, but also among non-Catholics. On March 13, 2013, Jorge Mario Bergoglio was elected Pope, becoming the 266th successor of St. Peter. He was the first pope from Latin America, the first Jesuit pope, and notably, the first to take the name Francis, in honor of St. Francis of Assisi, a symbol of peace, humility, and poverty. From the very beginning of his papacy, Pope Francis made a clear difference. He refused to live in the lavish apostolic palace, choosing instead a modest room in the Casa Santa Marta, traveled in modest cars, and frequently shared meals with the poor. His papacy spanned 12 years, marked by efforts at reform and deep engagement with contemporary social issues. Under his leadership, the Church became more open, focusing on empathy and accompaniment rather than rigid rules. He consistently raised his voice on pressing issues such as climate change, economic inequality, migration crises, war, and discrimination. In the encyclical Laudato Si 2015, he called on humanity to care for our common home, a prophetic message for an age of environmental crisis. He also sought to bring the Church closer to homosexuals, remarried divorcees, and the LGBTQ+ community, embracing a spirit of inclusion rather than judgment. In his final years, Pope Francis's health visibly declined. Beginning in early 25, he was repeatedly hospitalized due to respiratory issues such as bronchitis, pneumonia, and acute asthma, accompanied by mild kidney failure. Though there were moments of recovery, his condition remained critical and closely monitored. In a deeply moving moment, just one day before his passing, Pope Francis appeared unexpectedly on the main balcony of St. Peter's Basilica to deliver a blessing to Easter attendees. Though frail, the tenderness and resolve in his eyes moved many to tears. It seemed he had given his final strength to fulfill his pastoral duty to his flock. Before his death, Pope Francis requested to be buried in the Basilica of Santa Maria Maggiore in Rome, rather than the crypt beneath St. Peter's Basilica, like many of his predecessors. Santa Maria Maggiore, one of the 4 major papal basilicas, was his regular prayer site before and after apostolic journeys. This choice reflected his simple, approachable lifestyle, eschewing power and ceremony. He wished to rest in the sacred silence of a place he had long called his house of prayer. The Vatican has announced that Pope Francis's funeral will be held on Friday, April 25, 2025, at St. Peter's Square, beginning at 9 a.m. local Rome time. Giant screens will be set up across the Vatican and surrounding squares to accommodate the hundreds of thousands of faithful expected to arrive in Rome for the occasion. Since the announcement of the Pope's passing, a wave of condolences has spread worldwide. Dozens of international delegations are expected to attend the funeral, including leaders such as the President of France, the Chancellor of Germany, the King of Spain, a representative of the British royal family, the President of Argentina, Pope Francis's homeland, and numerous global religious leaders. The Vatican has granted permission for the faithful to pay their respects to Pope Francis's body at St. Peter's Basilica from April 22nd to 24, between 7 a.m. and 7 p.m. each day, with over 1 million visitors expected to turn the Vatican into a place of faith, mourning, and prayer. The solemnity of the funeral, along with deep mourning from around the world, was not only a final farewell to a pope, but also a tribute to a spiritual father, a friend to the poor, and a voice of justice in a turbulent world. The UN Secretary-General praised Pope Francis as a spiritual leader with a global vision, who always stood by the marginalized and the forgotten. Many prominent figures in academia, religion, and civil society also emphasize that his legacy will continue to illuminate humanity for decades to come. The passing of Pope Francis is not only a loss to the Catholic Church, but also an emotional farewell to a moral leader, a spiritual father, and the Pope of the poor. He lived out his episcopal motto, Miserando atque eligendo. He looked upon me with mercy and chose me. Though his body rests in peace, his voice of love and justice still resonates across the world. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel so you won't miss future videos. And together, let's keep the flame of hope alive in today's world. Thank you for watching. May God be with you.